Hey guys, how are you today, everybody? Thank you for everyone who is joining me here on TikTok as well on YouTube. I'm live, and I just had to come here quick to share some stuff. All right, I just came from shower. I didn't even wipe up all this. You see, like I have messed up hair and I have water all over my body, but I just had to rush in to do this, man. It doesn't matter how long or how short I'm gonna do, but I need to do this. Let me first pray, to ask for quality and wisdom. God, I thank you for today. And whatever that I'm going to share here today, I pray that you'll give me your wisdom and your spirit. Because what we want to see is change, not just talk, but change. In your precious name, I pray. Amen. All right, guys. So I'm here right now. I'm not gonna be here for a long time, but I want to share with you something little quick, man. For a while now, for a couple times, something has been really bothering me in my heart, and it's this word we call illegal migrant. Illegal migrant. All right, guys. If you don't know, one girl she shared her experience recently what has happened when she wanted to go to South Africa. Just to give you a little bit background of one girl, she's an Ethiopian lady, lives in Kenya, and she was supposed to go to South Africa for a conference, all right, for YouTubers conference. I guess she was invited there to be part of that, to connect with different YouTubers. And so she was supposed, she booked the flight, she got the visa, she got everything, and she was supposed to leave Kenya to go to South Africa. But what happened is, Kenyan Airlines, right? They gave her everything, but all of a sudden, this one lady, she came to her, and basically they stopped her from leaving, and they gave her the reason why you are not traveling, the reason why you're not gonna go to South Africa, it's because you are an Ethiopian. That was the reason that she was given by the Kenya airline attendees. So don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not here to spread hatred between Ethiopians and Kenyan, or to spread hatred towards Kenyan airline. I'm not here to do that, but simply we're here to tell the truth of what has happened. That in Africa, you have people who cannot go to another country simply because of the name of their countries. So if you're from Ethiopia, then you'll be a special case. They'll look at you with a special case. It will be difficult for you to get visa. It will be difficult for you to be allowed to go to certain countries. And sadly, even my country, Tanzania. Like if you're an Ethiopian, applying for a visa to Tanzania, it's almost impossible. You can apply a visa to go United States, but coming to Tanzania is almost impossible. And going to South Africa, apparently the same thing, because literally my friend was stopped. If you don't know one girl, we are actually working together towards the common goal, and that to bring Africa together. She's the one that does news all the time for Swahili Nation. If you've never seen those news, go right now. I just released a news done by one girl. She does every single week releasing a news recap about Africa. She's an Ethiopian, and she was stopped literally because she's an Ethiopian. So she had to cancel her flight. She couldn't fly that day because she's an Ethiopian. So she was not allowed. But eventually she traveled. She went there. I'm not here to just tell one story, because hopefully I can have a time with Wonga to come and to discuss in detail about this. But today I'm here to speak about one thing that most of us we know: illegal migrants. Illegal migrants. This is what I say. I tweeted just a couple minutes ago, guys. Couple minutes ago I tweeted, and I want to read it for you guys to understand where I'm coming from. I've been thinking about this for a while, man, and that's why recently went to meet with His Excellency the Ambassador of Ethiopia here in Tanzania to address these issues. All right, and we're thinking to meet with the government as well to address these issues. And this is what I said. I said this, that no African should be called or treated an illegal migrant in the continent. It's a time to let Africans have their own home. It's crazy. Some of our people are being called illegal migrants in their own land, in their own country. In Africa, there are countries that are considered to be dangerous. Or you can go right now on Google, and you can just Google. All right. African countries that are considered to be dangerous. You can go on Google and just type that. And I want to say this. Let me just mention, these are African countries that are considered to be dangerous, not only outside of Africa, but sadly, even inside of the continent. You have South Sudan, the most dangerous, they say. You have Somalia, the second one. You have Central African Republic. And then you have Sudan. You have Libya. You have Mali. You have Ethiopia. And you have some other countries there. And this is according to travelinglifestyle.com. These are countries, they say, most dangerous countries in Africa. 10. They basically, here they put them 10. Let me mention all of them. Did I say 10 of them? Yeah, so the South Sudan is the first one. Then you have Somalia, all right? And then you have Central African Republic. And then you have Sudan. And then you have Libya, all right? And then you have Mali. And then you have Ethiopia, and then you have Nigeria, and then you have Burkina Faso, and then you have Congo, DRC Congo. These are 10 countries that are considered to be dangerous. Sadly, not only outside, but even within the continent. And why I'm saying this? I'm saying this because some of these countries, some people who are coming from this country, they cannot even be allowed to go to certain countries because of the reputation of having illegal migrants. So now we are calling our own people illegal migrants. And this is what I say. This is what I tweeted earlier before. That was the first tweet. I tweeted a lot of tweets like crazy. And then I had tweet again. Africans can never be illegal migrants in Africa. It is impossible to call Africans illegal migrants, even to call them migrants in Africa, because Africa is their home. Africa is their continent. You can't call your fellow African illegal migrant. You can't. Where did we get this idea? Like, where the hell did we get the idea of illegal migrants? Like calling our brothers and sisters illegal migrants. So today, you have countries in Africa that can almost be impossible to go to another countries because of the reputation of having illegal migrants. Think about this, guys. I'm not saying that in Africa we don't have issues. We have countries that have issues. We have countries that they're having terrorist attack almost every time. We have those countries. But does that make all of the people from that country terrorists? No. But why do we limit them in a single bubble of this group that this is the terrorist country, this is the dangerous country? So there are people that cannot get visa to come to our country within the continent. I'm not concerned about outside the continent. I'm concerned about inside the continent, that today we're seeing each other as illegal migrants. And that is not just in the government level, but even people today, you can go around the street and asking people, what do you think about Somalia? What do you think about Ethiopia? What do you think about Sudan? What do you think about Libya? We have those videos all over the internet, and you see what people say about those countries. And what is so sad is that Africans, they don't have their own home. We don't pray for this, but let's say the war break in your country. These people, they're fighting a safe place to live. They're fighting a safe place to settle down. They're fighting a safe place to save their families. But you know what? The moment they enter to your country, they're illegal migrants. So where they're going to end up? They're going to end up in prison because they're illegal migrants. They're Africans trying to find a better life in Africa, and we call them illegal migrants. Africans. How can Africans be illegal migrants in the continent, in Africa? Oh, okay. It's because of these borders that colonizers, they put for us. It's because of these passports and visa, that colonizer system, it was there introduced from the first time to divide us and to rule us. So even today, you don't have a white man as colonizing you in your own country, but us as Africans, we treat each other as illegal migrants and as terrorists. When are we going to wake up? Where the hell did we get this idea to call our fellow Africans illegal migrants? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that Africans cannot have their own home. And then today, you have Africans who are trying to escape away from the continent, to go to Europe, to go to Asia. Most of them, they die in the Mediterranean Sea. Most of them, they're being killed outside there. Why? Because they don't have a home in Africa. They don't have a home in Africa. So am I saying this reckless without thinking? What I know is this. When you have Africans moving from one African country, for example, today, if you have Congolese moving from Congo because of the situation that is happening there, trying to find a better life somewhere else, you got to take care of them because they are Africans and they're your fellow people. They're not illegal migrants. They're not even migrants. They're Africans. Let's stop labeling our people. Let's stop limiting our people. Let's stop. Man, it's sad, man. It's really sad. It's really sad, man. Like I don't know what we're thinking, man. Like, I don't know what we are thinking. These systems are killing us. These systems are dividing us. These systems are destroying us, man. If system is not good, why not changing it? Why not changing things? Why not changing this paradigm shift? Why not shifting it, man? Why keep holding on to things that are keep dividing us, keep hurting us, keep separating us? Why? Why we keep holding on to the system that are not helping us? Why? Why? It doesn't make sense, man. Just take an example. If you're Tanzanian today, I don't pray for that. But if you're a Tanzanian and then you don't have peace in your country, you try to find a better life in Uganda or Kenya, you go there, you end up in prison. Why? Because you're a legal migrant, you don't have visa. How are you going to remember to take visa during the wartime? If you don't have a passport, we know in Africa, in some of our countries in Africa, passport is like a luxury to have a passport. It's ridiculous. Passport is supposed to be with everybody, to everybody. It's a right to everyone to have a passport. In some of our countries, it's luxury to have that. In order to get that passport, you're going to spend a year to get your own passport. So today you're saying that you're a legal migrant because you don't have passport, because you don't have visa, and people are trying to find a better life. And they are Africans. Man, this is why we're fighting for one Africa, man. This is why we're pushing the agenda of African Union passports. Because if we have that, there will be no illegal migrants. You understand what I'm saying? There will be no illegal migrants. And maybe you do not understand this, but think for a second. You lost your family, you lost your brother, you lost your sister, you lost your kid, you lost your mom, you lost your brother, you lost everything. You're trying to find a better life somewhere else, and then you end up in prison because you're illegal migrant. Man, Africa, we're better than this, man. If we cannot treat each other better, what do we expect from others? Do you think they're going to treat us better? Do you think they're going to look at with respect? Do you know why Africa, everywhere they go, they struggle? I said before, system, it was never created for black people. The system you see was never created for black people. But also another reason today, let me add another reason for you. It's because you don't respect each other. It's because you don't love each other. Because you don't treat one another with respect. You don't have to respect me, but just treat me with respect. When you do that, they see it. But we don't treat each other with respect. If you a fellow African man, I call you illegal migrant, what do I expect for Europe to call you? What do I expect for America to call you? What do I expect for Asia to call you? That's why during the war that broke out in the Ukraine, you saw how our brothers and sisters, struggled. I was fighting for them. As a Swahili Nation, One Africa, let me tell you, maybe you don't know that, we were fighting for them. We wrote a letter to all these organizations to ask for our people to be get out from there. We asked the demand for our people to be get, because they were held hostages there. I had a conversation with Africans that were there in the Ukraine, held as a hostage there in the Ukraine. Straight, I had a live conversation here on YouTube, Swahili Nation YouTube. The conversation are there. Finally, they were released. But do you know why they're treated like that outside of the continent? Because that is how we treat them inside the continent. How do you treat people from Somalia, people from Ethiopia, people from Sudan, people from Libya, people from DR Congo? How do you treat them? People from Mali, how do you treat them as an African? How do you treat them? What do you think about them? When you just hear the name, when you see them, you think that they're terrorists? Is that what you think? If us as Africans, we are going to think about that, about each other, if we're going to treat each other like that, we cannot expect for anyone to treat us any better. In fact, they will treat us lesser than the way we treat each other. More than that, because we don't respect one another, because we hate one another, because we treat each other as illegal migrants. Where the heck did you get that an idea that an African can be illegal migrant in their own continent? It's ridiculous. Africans, they're supposed to find a home wherever they go in this continent. That's why we need Africa. That's why we need an African Union passport. We need that so that our people can have a home in Africa. We have struggles. We have conflicts going on in our countries. When they want to find a better life, they should be able to find a better life somewhere else within the continent of Africa before they go outside there and being killed and be treated like as slaves. We do the same thing here in Africa. What do you expect others to treat them? Today, when you have immigrants in other countries that are being treated like they're criminals. Yes, I don't disregard that there are some immigrants that are doing criminal activities in the countries. I don't disregard that. Yes, that fact is there. But have you ever asked yourself why they act like that? Maybe it's because you already treat them like criminal. Maybe because when you see them, you see criminality in them, if that's the word. But they're Africans. Am I the only one seeing this, that this is wrong? They're Africans. Africans cannot be illegal migrants in the continent. It's just impossible. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. This Africa, it was never used to be the way it is today. This line, these borders, they were not initiated by us. They were meant to divide and to conquer Africa. Today, we still use the same system and call each other illegal migrants. While our people are finding a better life in whatever country in Africa, they should have a home because this is their home. We must change things. We must start loving one another. Africans, we must start respecting one another. We must start supporting one another. The first step is doing that. It's supporting your own. Support Africa. Man, let love read. Let love lead. Let love lead. Love Africans. Love everything. Love Africans, man. Do you understand what I'm saying? Love Africans. Love Africans. Show love. That's why our mission is love, peace, and unity. What would love, peace, and unity do for Africa to Africa? We pray for unity. We pray for love. We pray for unity. We pray for peace. But also we want to act. And you can do that. Go and support Africans. Go and love your fellow Africans. That will send the entire message, who we are as a people, that we are together, that we are holding together, we are standing together, no matter what. No matter what. We ain't perfect. Nobody's perfect in this world, but we must love one another and treat each other with respect. From the government level, man. That's why I went here. I went to meet with the ambassador of Ethiopia here in Tanzania. I went with 3 agendas. The first agenda, it was to loosen up the restriction of visa for Ethiopians to come here in the country. The second agenda, to visit prisoners who are in prison. The third agenda, to make sure that we have a good relationship, good collaborations. Today, people can come from Ethiopia, go to Zanzibar, can come from Senegal, come to Zanzibar. They can come from all this kind of Nigeria, go to Zanzibar, to Kilimanjaro. Do you know what? You're going to make money. As a country, you're going to make money when people come, but the restriction of visas is just ridiculous within the continent, not just one country. I'm saying this because something just happened recently to one girl in South Africa. Why do we still treat our people like all of them, they're terrorists, like all of them, they're criminals? How can you treat your fellow Africans like that? How can you burn the entire country because of a few series of events that has happened? It does not make sense. Africans, they feel rejected in their own continent. They don't have a home. They feel disliked in their own continent. They're not loved in their own continent. They're not embraced in their own continent. They're not protected in their own countries. Africans, they feel that. It has always been a struggle for Africa, as if like when you're born with this color, you're born with struggles. I don't believe that, and I don't believe that we are cursed. Man, we are blessed more than anything, and that's why we are fighting for this right now. But we cannot continue to treat one another, each other, without respect, simply because, oh, you're coming from that country, you might be terrorists. You're coming from that country, oh, you're illegal migrants. They cannot be. I don't care. They have passport, they don't have. I don't care. But they're not illegal migrants because they're in their own land. Africa is our land, man. These borders, they're dividing us right now, but back then we didn't have them. We should start treat them with respect. And there's a job to be done with the governments, with the African Union. There's a job to be done. Get that word out of your mouth. Don't call your fellow Africans illegal migrants. They're Africans. They're your brothers. They're your sisters. They're not illegal. They're not illegal. Do you understand the word illegal? It's crazy, man, that we call our people illegal. And yet we embrace some people who are not even coming from Africa. We treat them like kings and like saviors. and we treat our own people like illegal migrants. Today, I'm afraid that today, somebody's calling here. I'm afraid that today, can you guys hear me here on TikTok? Let me stop this call. I'm afraid that today, if you see a white man without a passport or without a visa in your country, might be treated better than an African without a visa or a passport. And man, look at this situation. Someone is trying to escape for their lives. They don't have visa. They don't have. Are you going to apply for visa and war just broke out in your country? You're finding safety for your family and for your people. And then you end up in prison because you're an illegal migrant. It's ridiculous. How did we get here, man? How did we get here? The forefathers of this nation, of this continent, they spoke a lot about this. Mandela, he didn't have passports. He didn't have documents. When he came to Tanzania and Nyerere, Julius Kambarage Nyerere, he helped him. He gave him papers here. He gave him name here. He gave him documents here. He didn't have those when he was running away from there. And he was given a home here. Today, when you go the southern part of Tanzania, we have a tribe and those people are coming from South Africa. That's how we link together one another. Ngoni tribe are people from the southern part of Africa. Didn't have passport. The same thing when he went to Ethiopia. He was given even a name there and a document, official document, because he didn't have passport. That's how we used to be. That's how we used to treat one another. Today, everything is about system. Everything is about system. I don't say that system don't work. Yes, it does. But man, there's an emergence. We have to be human beings. We have to care for one another. We're one people. For a second, we have to be human beings. We have to treat each other like a human being, for God's sake. Illegal migrants, man, even God, one day, man, when Jesus comes back and then we go before him to be judged, he's going to look at y'all and be like, man, how can you call the creation of Almighty God illegal? Do you understand that, guys? Do you understand how ridiculous it sounds? Well, if you didn't know, let you know right now. I say I'm not going to be here for a long time. I'm going to be here for a very short period of time. Let me tell you this, that in Africa right now, there are people, there are countries that are considered to be dangerous countries, terrorist countries. And there are people, they're not even accepted to go to another countries. In order to get a visa to go to those countries, it's like impossible. Not only that, but when they try to find a better life in another countries, they are being treated and called illegal migrants. That's how they're labeled, Africans. They don't have a home in their own continent. My best friend is Nigerian, and I've been traveling with him in different countries. I've seen how he's been treated outside. When people, they cannot even look at me, search me twice, but they will search him and they'll bring him in a special room to check him out. But that is not just happening outside, it's happening in Africa. We need African Union passports. It was already there in 2006. It was supposed to come to people 2008, and now it's a time. And don't get me wrong, man, you can have African Union passport, but man, if it's a time for that. Africans are hurt so much by how they're being treated in their own continent, by their own people. We can't keep entertaining this. There is no illegal migrants in Africa. I tweeted this, and I'll say it again. I tweeted and say Africans can never be illegal migrants in Africa. They are not immigrants. They are Africans. They're not immigrants. Do you understand that? You're not. Don't even call yourself. I migrate from Congo to Tanzania. No, I migrate from Ethiopia to here. No, you're not immigrant. You're African. That's your home. It is your home. It's a time to take this by force. It's a time for all Africans to come together and to be like, no, this is my home, man. It's my home. I'm going to come to your country and I don't care. Maybe I don't speak your language, but you're going to treat me like your brother because I'll be home and that's my home. Don't come to me and tell, I see those comments a lot of times. Don't come and tell me that, leave my country alone. You're not even coming from here. Shut up, man. I'm African. That's my place. You understand? We need to be aggressive now. All right. The time of just talking and asking is done. Now is the time for us to be aggressive. I'm not saying violent, guys. I'm not saying violent. I'm saying we have to be aggressive with our ideas. And that's how I'm becoming right now. That's who I am right now. Don't tell me that don't talk about my country. That ain't your country. That's my country too. You're my brother, whether you know it or you don't know. Thank God that I have this consciousness to know that Africans, we're one people and we're fighting for one Africa. And wherever I go to Africa, it's my home. No matter how you're going to treat me, you're my brother and that's my home. I have that consciousness. Maybe the problem is with you who do not know that, who do not accept that Africans, we're one people and we should fight for one Africa with everything we got. Because our brothers and sisters, they keep struggling. We all saw the news when our brothers and sisters were killed in Morocco because they were trying to migrate. You saw that news. We spoke about it. This is Africa. You can't kill your brother because he's trying to escape to your country and you call them illegal. It's ridiculous and it's shame of you. Shame on you. They are finding a better life and this is their land. This is our land. Africa should protect Africans. We can't kill one another. We can't be treated with one another like that, with hatred, with rage, with anger, with segregation, with division, racism. We can't be doing that. In this continent, we're people of different colors. You understand that? We're people of different religions. We're people with different tribes, different languages, different countries, but we're one people. Africa is one big family with 55 different children, 54 countries in Africa, one in the diaspora. That is Africa. That's us. You understand that? Then there's no illegal migrant in Africa. Get that system out of your, let them talk about that. But we as Africans, we're going to change that. We're going to start calling each other brothers and sisters. You're my family, man. Maybe I don't love you. Maybe I don't like the way you talk. Maybe I don't like the way you look, but you're my family. And I do love you because you're my family. You're Africans. You know, the other day I was really glad because one guy, you know, he saw my videos and he called me, man. He found me. This guy is from Algeria. I was so happy. He lives in the Italy. He called me and he started talk about this. Say, man, I've never thought myself like that. I always connected myself with the Middle East, but after following your video, man, you got it to me. I never thought that I would find someone who talked like that. Man, I'm African, man, and it's the time to fight for one Africa. This guy is from Algeria, crying for that. Be like, man, I never thought about this. It's a time for Africa to come together. Not everybody don't want to be African. Sometimes we're just divided because we have this misconception inside of us. We think that they think like that. We think that we think like they think that we think like that, but we don't have conversation to understand one another. And I'm going to have that, my brother Algerian, in the session one day on YouTube to talk about it. There's no illegal migrants in Africa. Africans can never be illegals in Africa. And guys, if you want to extend this conversation, I just tweeted on my tweet. Please go there and let's extend this talk because we need to spread this word. We need to remind African Union that we don't have illegal migrants in Africa. We have Africans who are trying to find a better life in Africa. We must tell them. So go, let me show you here, okay? Go on Twitter. My name, I use Twitter, Mika Chavala. I tweeted there. I want you guys to go to retweet. I want you guys to go there to share. I want you guys to go there to reply. I want you guys to go there to extend that communication, all right? To extend that conversation because every change begins with conversation. This is where we begin. And after now, we are not going to have illegal migrants in Africa. That idea, I'm trying to turn the camera, but I can't. This thing is still new to me. Anyways. Okay, you cannot. So I wanted to show you guys my Twitter. Okay, here. Let me show you. Here. If you go on Twitter, you'll find that Mika Chavala, you know, Twitter account, the same name here as TikTok. If you go there, you'll find the tweets that I just tweeted. I tweeted a while ago. 1, 2, so far 3, but I'm gonna keep tweeting after this live stream. So go retweet and extend that conversation. You need to spread this word. Tag African Union. Tag anybody else. Go and do that. We are in the mission of fighting for our brothers and sisters. We're on the mission of fighting for one Africa. And you cannot call Africans illegal migrants in Africa. It's just not accepted. It's not acceptable. And us as Africans, we might stand and say, no, no, no. Enough is enough. These are my brothers and sisters. And all these limitations, all this ridiculous restriction. My friend Wongel, she said she's trying to go to South Africa. She has crazy documents. She had to bring like a little piece of book, documents just to go there. The same thing when you try to come to Tanzania. The same thing when you try to go to other countries. In Africa, guys, you give every document possible they need, and you're still rejected. That's why people, they don't want to live in Africa. That's why they go outside of Africa, wondering why our economy is like this, because we kick them out. We don't treat them like our own. I said the other day that this African Union passport, it should be there, and it should start with diaspora. They should provide to all African diaspora, everybody who feel like you're an African, you should be given African Union passports. But we are here. It's for some reason, sometimes you're wondering, are these people that just want us to be the way we are? Because we have skilled Africans. We have really entrepreneur, creator, all those Africans, we have them. But why we don't give them a chance to come and to contribute here? Why we make things so hard for them to come home and to contribute in the countries? Why? Why? Yes, there are issues. There's a lot of issues to deal with. I'm not saying that things will be perfectly fine. I'm not saying that. Of course, there has to be a bridge between the local Africans and diaspora as well. When you come here home, come humbly. All right, when you come, let me talk to diaspora here. When you come to Africa, come with your humility. Don't come like you're Mr. Knowing It All. If you come like that, I'm telling you, continent is going to reject you, and you're going to go back to where you came from, because continent already has this trauma of how they've been treated by the whites, by the colonizers. They have that trauma already. So if you come with that attitude, you remind us with what has happened in the past. You ain't going to survive here. You're going to go back to wherever you came from. Come here with your humility and know nothing. Don't come with the knowledge you started in the books you saw in Wakanda Village and all this stuff. No. Know nothing. Come here, interact with people, start learning from beginning. Start learning, understand it if you have never been in the continent. That will be so much easier for you. I've seen a lot of people failing and go back where they came from because they came and they thought like, oh, come on, I just go there and there's a no. Expectation, take them out of you. Come knowing nothing and learn from the start. And the people in the continent, don't be intimidated. These are our people. These are our people. Accept them, embrace them, help them, be with them. We depend and we need one another. Africans cannot be illegal migrants in Africa. It's just impossible. And it's ridiculous. And it doesn't make sense. And we should cancel that with everything we got. We should say no to that. All right, guys. As I promised you, I'm not going to be here for a long time. And I appreciate you. For those people who are watching me here on TikTok, I'm live on YouTube as well. If you want this conversation to see, because I know on TikTok you cannot go back and watch the video, you can go on YouTube and see it. There'll be available video right there. Go and watch it. Go and see it. Go and watch it. My final message, I will say this. Guys, Africans, let's respect one another. Let's love one another. I know you're proud Tanzanian. I know you're proud Ethiopian. I know you're proud Eritrean. You're proud South African. I know you are. You love your country. But let's treat one another with respect. Let's treat one another differently. Don't look down on your fellow Africans. Don't look down on other countries. Just because they're labeled as the terrorist countries, don't label everybody in that country like that, because they ain't. A lot of decent people, they're there. It's a time to look on the bright side. It's a time to protect our own. We can do better than that. When it comes to Africa, Africa is the bigger picture than your single country. And that's why we are fighting. That's the mission of Swahili Nation, to fight for one Africa. We start by treating one another with respect. Treat one another like a brother. No, we are brothers. One big family with 55 different children. Not everybody has the same behavior. Not everybody speaks the same language. Not everybody has the same color. Not everybody love the same thing. No, we have different food. We have different culture. We have different languages. But we are brothers and sisters. It's a time to change that. Don't wait for government to change it, because maybe they ain't gonna do it. It's a time for us to change that. Let's start doing it. Let's do it. You do it. I do it. You do it. All right? Don't just see me as this Tanzanian guy just talking again. No, see me as an African. Yes, I am Tanzania. I love being Tanzania. But you know why? People that don't even think I'm from Tanzania, because I don't talk about it. I don't talk about it because I'm not proud of it. No, I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of, yeah, I think you can only love Africa if you love your country. That's what I believe. But why? Because I see my people struggling and suffering a lot because of those small mind people. That is small mind. If you just think about your country, it's a small mind. Think about your fellow brothers and sisters. If you live at peace, you have to know that someone next to your door, next to your country, is not living at peace. If you're not at peace, I'm not at peace. You got to get peace together. And that's the fact. If they failed, we as a people, we have to come together and make it happen, because we can. The power is in the people now. It is in you. God has given you that. Who told you that power is in the government? No, power has been given to you, to every single one of you. You're a person, power has been given to you. All right. Man, government, they might be coming to take me. Government might be coming here to take me out of here, man. Oh, man. Oh, government might be coming to take me here. But what I'm trying to say is that every single individual, every single one of y'all have power to decide, have power to change. I'm not talking about fighting power. That's not what I'm talking about. Whatever you did, it's working. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you have power to change, power to transform, power to unite. I say this. I share a video today on TikTok. If you haven't seen, please go and watch and share it as well. I want you guys to go to watch and to share. Spread that word. Our people needs to hear that. You cannot believe we have so many people who do not hear that. I am surprised how many calls I receive from my people and say, man, we never heard someone talk about that. I'm like, man, we had Nyerere, we had Kwame Nkrumah, we had all these good leaders in the past that were talking about this, but people, they didn't hear. Share. So this is what I was saying. I said, I forgot even what I wanted to say. Just go and watch that video, man. Go and watch that video. It's a time to do that. It's a time to build our own story. It's a time to tell our own story. This is the time to protect one another, to stand with one another, to defend one another. Man, if you're an African and if you're going to die, man, I'm going to die with you. If you're an African, and I don't want to die, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying that I want to live with you. That's what I'm trying to say. And we can live together. Yes, I said this, that Africans, we do not understand the true meaning of power because we are divided. The true meaning of power is in the unity. And when you understand that, then you will know that unity is power. And we can only experience that power and understand the true meaning of power if we are one, if we are united. And now is the time. Message to the governments of Africa: there is no illegal migrants in Africa. Africans, they can never be illegal migrants in Africa. Take that out of your system. Take that out of your paper. Take it out. Delete, erase it. You do not know how many pains you're causing to our people. And one day you'll pay for that. Take that away. An African Union. We need African Union passport as soon as possible. Our people are struggling, are hurting. They're hurting. I was talking to one girl. She's hurting. She's hurt. You cannot ignore that. You can't treat your fellow Africans like that. You cannot treat your fellow African like criminal. Someone don't even know the meaning of criminal. You treat them like criminal. They ain't criminal. They're Africans. And even if they're criminal, they're our people. We got to deal with that. We are treating each other like slaves and master. We imitate the ways that slaves, master, they were treating us. Do you know how Africans were punished back in the days? We were not beaten. That was not part of our culture. Do you know that the beating culture, it actually came with the colonizers? Those slave masters, when they were beating our parents, they were beating our people because they didn't do something. That's how we came. Do you know how we were punished before? If you're a kid and you're rebellious, do you know how your parents punished you? They punished you with stories. My dad, he would sit me down and he would tell me all these scary stories. How this guy who was a thief, he went to hell. How this guy, like, of course, psychologically, sometimes it's not good because you're scared, but you're not going to steal. That's how we were disciplined, by stories. And you understand because it's that story stick in your mind that, oh, if I steal, I'm going to end up in prison. If I steal, I'm going to end up in hell. I don't want to go to hell. I want to go to heaven, so I'm not going to steal. That's how we're treated. That's how we were trained and punished. Anyways, guys, I'm going to stop here, man. I say my piece, and I'll come back to talk again and again and again. But just remember this, that Africans can never be illegal migrants in Africa. Go on my Twitter account, Mika Chavala. Share your comments, all right? Share your opinion and retweet them. Let's spread the word. And let's tell African Union that it's a time to have that one passport for our people. All right? This is the moment to do that. I love you guys. Let me pray for y'all. For those who have been hurt, I'll pray for peace and for the love, all right? God, I thank you for this short moment that we have discussed. We have Africans who have been hurt for so long because of how they've been treated in other countries within the continent. We pray for your peace and for the reconciliation of our people. Most importantly, we'll bring our people together to fight for that Africa we deserve to have for our kids and for the future generation. So thank you because you're the center of this, and we're not going to stop until it happens. Thank you for the courage. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the provision. I pray all these things in your precious name, Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, guys, I'm done. I love you. Everybody, have a good day. Have a good night. And please spread this word. It's very important. Bye-bye, YouTube fans.